Hey guys, another sci-fi guy here, also known as Prowl1701, and today we're going to be reviewing the pilot for the television series Babylon 5. Now, the pilot, oddly enough, isn't included in in the season 1 box set, which it really should be since it's the pilot. It's actually included in the movie collection, and most of the movie collection takes place between seasons 4 and 5. For some reason, they included the pilot in with it, which the pilot is movie length. It is a movie pilot, but they really should have included it in season 1. Anyway, I love Babylon 5. I'm a huge fan of Babylon 5. It's probably the best written science fiction series of all time, in my opinion. It's really hard for me to pick between it and Doctor Who. I mean, I love Star Trek, I love Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, all that stuff. But Babylon 5 is just written so well because when Michael's, his last name gives me trouble, Straczynski. I have a heck of a time with this last name. But when he originally came up with the idea, he had a beginning and an ending point. He knew what was supposed to happen. And so he was able to pretty much map out the key points of the series as he was writing the series. And that's really nice because a lot of things in season 1 don't make sense until like season 3 or 4, or season 2 don't make sense until season 3 or 4. There's a lot of little foreshadowing in it. And the pilot does a really good job of giving you the exposition you need to kind of know what's going on in this universe without being another one of those, more exposition, like some things do. It's woven into the story really well in a way where it's scattered about in bits and pieces, and it still keeps the story going. It's a great chance to introduce all of the characters, and it's interesting to watch because you see where all the characters are in the pilot. And I've seen the whole series several times. I started watching the show when reruns of the third season were airing before season 4 came out, and I watch it. I go back and watch the whole thing about every 2 to 4 years. And it's neat to see where the characters are here in the pilot and where they end up by the end of the series, and watch the character growth they have, because Babylon 5 is very much character driven and about the characters and the changes they go through. And it's phenomenal how well these characters are developed. I can't think of a single science fiction television show where the characters are this well developed and they have as much of a story arc as they do in Babylon 5. We get introduced to all the major characters. We get to meet Sinclair. We find out about the Battle of the Line. That's a really well done scene where we get the backstory about the Battle of the Line, and we realize what an important battle it was in the Earth-Minbari War. We learn about the Earth-Minbari War 10 years ago. We learn that Babylon 5 is the 5th station, that the first 3 were destroyed, and the 4th one mysteriously vanished. Great foreshadowing there. We learn about how the Centauri and the Narn don't get along. Their races are at war with each other. The actors are all doing a fine job here. Right off the bat, I loved Londo because I think he's a funny character. It's interesting to watch how his character grows and changes throughout the series. Of course, I love Garibaldi. He's not quite as humorous as he gets later. I like Sinclair. It's interesting because the pilot has a few characters that aren't really in the rest of the series, like the commander here is not Ivanova. It's a different commander, and I liked her. She was great. We have a different doctor, which is really nice. I like the doctor, which I like Richard Biggs' doctor as well. The whole bit about the Vorlons being this mysterious race. Nobody knows what they look like, and the one Doctor Who gets to actually see in the suit, how he's just blown away, and it's a big experience for him, the way he communicates it to Leela. That obviously builds up that there's something interesting about this race, and the fact they almost attacked the station. You get that they're a huge threat if they want to be. We learn there's definitely a side of one of the races. I won't say who the assassin is, but there's an assassin involved, and we find out that there's definitely some people of one of the major races that's not necessarily in agreement with the rest of their race about the station. And so I was really impressed with the acting. I like the fact the Minbari makeup is different here than you'll see it throughout the rest of the series. They look a little more alien. And I actually like the way they do the makeup here. It just looks a little better instead of just a headpiece added on like it is pretty much throughout the rest of the series. While still well done, I just like their more alien look in the pilot here. There's a lot of amusing moments in it. I love the exchange between Lita and Jakar when he's telling her about how they're trying to create Narn telepaths. That whole exchange is absolutely hilarious. And I love the look on Lita's face during it. So it has a lot of action. It has some humor in it. You know, Londo in the gambling room is really amusing. A lot of action, a lot of drama. It has all of that rolled in well, which Straczynski, I cannot say his name, what he is really, really good at. I love him as a writer. The effects look a little dated because the pilot came out in 1993. And at the time, Babylon 5 was the first show to do all of their space effects in CGI. It was very revolutionary. But, you know, Star Trek and all those other shows were still using physical models. Babylon 5 was the first sci-fi show to use all digital effects and CGI effects for their spaceships and such. And it looks really impressive for the time. It looks a little dated now, not enough to deter me, but every time I go back and watch the series again, it does look a little more outdated each time. You can definitely tell the effects were done, you know, a little while back. It's kind of like how when Reboot and Beast Wars Transformers first came out, the CG in them was revolutionary, and now if you show it to a kid, they're probably going to look at it and be like, that looks a little old, that looks a little eh. So the effects do look dated, but not enough to bother me. And there's a lot of people, kind of like people who watch classic Doctor Who and they know the effects are kind of silly, but they can still enjoy it anyway regardless. There's a lot like that. They don't bother me at all. I'm really excited to get back into the series again. I've watched it all the way through probably 5 or 6 times now, and I always get excited about it because it's such a good series. I mean, just watching the pilot, I'm already raring to go to watch the next episode. It's probably my favorite story, my favorite sci-fi show of all time. Behind it and Doctor Who are really close, but it definitely has the best written story in my opinion. So the main thing is the episode itself is really good. There's a lot going on. It's got a good mix of action, drama, and humor. It does a good job introducing us to all the characters. It does a good job on exploring kind of the backstories of what's happened with the Earth-Minbari War, the Narns, and the Centauri, all of that without boring us with the exposition. And it does a good job reconciling the problem and having a good ending and really getting you excited for the series as a whole. Anyway, that's really about it. I really enjoyed the episode. I'm looking forward to getting started on Season 1. If you have any feedback, go ahead and comment down below. Don't forget to click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm really looking forward to growing the channel. We're going to be talking about all things sci-fi. We're going to review not just Doctor Who and Babylon 5. I plan on getting a review for the movie Dune, D-U-N-E, the 1984 version, the good version, up sometime soon. And also, if you're a Star Wars fan, check out my other channel, Prowl1701, PROWL1701, where I review lightsaber hilts from like Ultra Sabers and Saber Forge. And most importantly, thank you for watching.